that then who pushed them to go?
Circumstances pushed them to go. I mean,
No.
But there was nowhere to go for anybody stateless. Who would have them? Who would have them? How many people wanted to go out and nobody would have them? You know that. America had a quota system. England didn't give you a work permit. They had up to here. Swiss people shoved you back around the border. I mean, you know what happened.
You think that the active there were your brother who sent them and
My brother was a young man in 1933 and the Gestapo came in the front and he walked out the back. And my father put him on the train to London with 10 mark. And that was it.
But after that,
That was 1933.
you think that your brother was who told your parents to come out?
Oh, I think it was obvious. There was nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go for a middle-class, middle-aged couple. Nowhere. It's different when you have a young person. They can change their job, they can change their language. It's different.
Because then he told me that his father escaped from the Bonjin.
And he was lucky.
And when he came, I should try
Was he
to
married? He wasn't married then.
No, I
There you
I
are.
don't know, but
Well,
I think
people
so.
that were married and had children were already in middle age. 40, 35, 40. And you aged a lot quicker under Hitler than you did before, I can assure you.
But they sent the children out. That most of German Jews sent the children out.
Why not? It's there.
No, that's it's good, but the youth aliyah and so on.
We have some wonderful people here that came from Youth Aliyah.
Yes, I know. And
It's the best nucleus there is here,
yeah,
I think.
But that was the way of the German Jews to send the children out.
I don't know whether it was
In
German.
Poland they don't do it.
I don't know anything about Polish Jews. I think anybody that was Polish Jew and didn't leave Poland wasn't right in the head anyhow.
Maybe they
The
couldn't
Poles
also.
were always anti-Semites.
Yes.
Always.
You think that the Germans know?
They're just obedient servants.
But not with the heart. They were not anti-Semitic with the heart.
Some.
Oh, some, yes.
Some, I would say that any German that was anti-Semitic did it either out of superstition or because of personal gain.
Yeah.
And they had plenty of personal gain from it. Why? An employee that would never dream of having a shop, you give it to him on a platter, look. It's not that I don't blame them, but it's human weakness. To gain for yourself, never mind about the next one. I think it is just...
But cruel, they were not in the streets also.
Yes, the young ones, why not? I had something spritzed into my eye. It nearly blinded me. I don't know what it was. And they were roaring hilariously, a couple of youths, Hitler youths. I don't know what it was. I thought I'd go blind. But it went away, but it gave me a terrible shock. I might have been 12 years old then.
38?
Yes, would be about 12 years old now. I just went over the road to buy some jam. We had a confiterie there. Just spritzed it in.
Then they grown up?
We all lived in fear of the doorbell.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that was SS, but...
No, the Gestapo. Yeah, but you can't say who was the Gestapo. They were people.
Yeah.
They were people. I think that there were good people and there were bad people. If you think that all the Germans were bad, they weren't.
No.
But they were all afraid.
Yeah. To help they were afraid. Most of them.
Most.
We
Some
know
didn't
something,
need.
yes.
I think that there were some that would even help my father. But I don't know about it. And he certainly wouldn't have told.
No,
well, not a 12-year-old, that says you can tell somebody else. This is something you don't talk about, because you endanger other people.
Yeah.
I am sure, but by not hindering, it is also a help sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the policeman that pushed the first to the back.
Yeah.
He didn't have to. He could have taken one. Nobody would have told him. Why? His wife might have liked him. Takes all sorts of people.
Yes.
In anywhere in the world.
But
I don't think it's a purely German phenomenon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's mass hysteria that you can get anywhere. Anywhere at all.
Yeah.
I had a book given to me the other day. It's called The Stories of Rachel, and I opened it up and there was 1498 Inquisition, and I closed it after 3 pages. And I said to my neighbour who loaned it to me that humanity hasn't learned anything in 450 years. You would swear this was Hitler Germany. So if you'd like to read that, that explains you what I think of Hitler Germany. Nothing. And I don't think they have now. I'm afraid that unless we look after ourselves, nobody else will. Nobody else will. Sure, there are good people and bad people, but it takes one bad one to do a lot of harm. Do you know that the Jewish saying that the world will be saved when there's 10 just men? You try and find 10. Everybody has a little bit of it. Some are weak, some are bad, some get fed up.
And the last months when you had no school and what?
We stayed at home.
At home.
For us it was wonderful. For a 13-year-old not to have school, it's fine. But we prepared to go. And we went by train, and I can assure you we were shivered. Bentheim is the border to Holland? Bentheim? I think we were glad. I think we sighed when we got over. We were quite scared that we may not go out. And we had 3 days in Holland with some family.
Yes.
In Amsterdam, and then we went to Rotterdam on the boat. And we kept together pretty well, the Jewish people.
Yeah?
Yes.
The German Jewish or?
Makes no difference. No. I don't think there was Viennese and there was... it never made any difference to us. If it made any difference to them, that's their problem. I'm not, especially amongst the Jews, racist. It makes no difference to me.
And all of them came to Australia?
The people that, yes. There was
and you have the community in Australia?
Very little. There were 2 young ladies who, till they died, we were in contact. Then there was a mother with a son who became a scientist, who we knew, but you make new friends. And I don't think there were too many old friends from my parents left. They found them in Israel. When they came in 1952 to visit, they found a lot of friends here. From Kaufman. A lot.
Yeah.
But in Australia we made friends and...
Only Jews, no?
Yes.
Yes? Always?
Yes. That's why I'm in Israel.
Understand.
But the normal Australian person, they were very nice and very helpful. But the general public, as such, the blind face of the public was very resentful of the foreigners. They weren't used to it. People with briefcases, people with string bags, foreigners.
Yeah?
But they are used to it very nicely. It's okay.
We remember the Australian soldiers. They were very nice. We loved them. They were so
very nice, kind-hearted, full of sport, full of drink.
And very
warm.
With
I don't think there's any problem with Australians as such. We unfortunately have not the country here that they have there. No matter what they do to the country, it'll stay rich. It's a very, very rich country in resources. Oil, coal, diamonds, gold, everything. And no problem of natives. There are no more natives.
They don't let them come.
There are no more natives, very few. Very few natives.
Because they are afraid of it.
No, there aren't any. They killed them out 100 years ago.
Yes, but now from China and India, and they
it's
don't.
Not natives. They are different countries.
Yeah, but they don't let them come to us.
No, but it's not because they're Chinese. It's because they would undercut the worker. They would work for nothing. We have very strong trade unions.
Yes, in Australia.
In Australia, very strong trade unions.
And the Jews came to Australia when your parents came. They found jobs to do.
Yes, because most of them were skilled, and there were not so many Australian people. It was a very, very big continent with a very small population. I think there were 8 million.
Yes.
And the newcomers brought skills and know-how. They helped a tremendous lot to build the country.
Yeah.
We had a wave of 39, we had a wave of after war, we had a wave in the 50s. And each of them brought their own strengths with them.
Yes.
And really helped make the country, helped, not that they
couldn't do it.
No, not that they needed so many, but they did contribute a lot to the wealth of Australia.
They got you with sympathy?
No, the Australian as such doesn't like foreigners. The real Australian. It's foreign to him.
And you had...
but individually, they will take to a person. They're quite open. But collectively, they don't like foreigners. All right, it doesn't matter.
Yes, and it was the first time it was difficult to...
Only difficult to make a living, of course. We came with nothing. But my father worked, and we worked. We did those shopping nets which the Australians had never set before. We worked them. It was about $1 a piece. And in 2-3 years, everybody came. Yes. Oh no, it was right. It was all right. There was no problem. No problem.
All the Jews came to Australia found living for the living?
Yes. If you had your health.
And you had aid from the Joint or somebody else?
There was aid for some people. It was not the Joint, it was what they called the Welfare Society, who had money at its disposal.
From the Jews in Australia?
They had money at its disposal to help the refugees, as we were called, like any other people. Some misused it, some used it. There are still many people, I'm afraid to say, who are very rich today and don't have the decency to give the amount that they took to any charity.
Yeah.
We know of quite a few people. Now, this is people, you see, although they're Jews. People are people.
There was a little Jewish community in Australia before you came, and they
helped with money, but they weren't very forthcoming with friendship.
Yeah.
It was the story like the German Jews with the Poles. Yes. Okay, some intermarried, some married. We are different anyhow. So why fraternize? We did all right amongst our own, but they could have helped a little bit, I think. But they didn't, and we got on all right, just the same.
But they didn't?
Not too much. Some did.
Some
were very wonderful individuals, you see. Some very wonderful individuals that helped. There was a man who founded, do you remember Dr. Lowy, who is the president of the JNF, was the president of JNF here. And he came to Australia, and my sister-in-law's father, who was very Australian, he was the first one to form the Zionist organisation of Sydney.
Yeah.
And he was a real Aussie. So they hadn't heard of Zionism.
No.
No. I found it between some others, Habanim.
Yes, you made a
In
group.
Australia,
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, and you
Well,
were
there's
active there.
somebody it's just past near Tzfat.
I see. של הבונים.
של הבונים is not
כפר הנשיא?
כפר הנשיא, Betty Kesselman, who was a co-founder with
Yes, and you had groups of הבונים. The German Jews began it as a group?
German, we had children, young people whose parents were German, whose parents were Australian,
yes,
whose parents were Viennese. It made
the foundation, the beginning when you
the
came?
beginning was, Betty Kesselman's father is English, my father is German, Polish, Yehuda Fair was Hungarian.
But the refugees begin
yes, but also a couple of the Australian girls and boys were interested, who had been there before.
But they...
there was a girl called Queenie Slutskin, she's Queenie Davis now, who founded a non-political Zionist organization called Ezra, who every year sends equipment here up to this day to any of the hospitals that need it. Any request gets channeled to her, she collects the money and buys the instrument and sends it. And she was one of our founders when before she was married. So it's really a cross section of the community. Like I said, every community has different people.
Yes, but the Zionists, they came to Australia through the refugees?
I think that the impetus to Zionists came through Hitler Germany, through the awareness that, if you're religious, I don't understand this from here, from Meir Sharif. To me, if you're religious and you pray to Zion 5 times a day, you are a Zionist. I'm sorry.
I understand, but the organization is after you came there to the...
No, it was a little before.
Yeah?
It was a little before. I'm sure. Please, help yourself. And they did quite good.
You remember how many abonim you have in a city?
Not very many.
Not very many.
Maybe we started with 15 and we got 100, and then they married, and now, they sent a Garin about 10 years ago to Kibbutz Yisrael.
Oh, yeah?
It's the offspring of our Heberw.
Oh, nice.
But there's not, I'll switch it.